everybody, welcome again to another edition of the Book Knowledge Share. Happy to have you again. I hope you're having a wonderful week. I'm having a great week here as well. So looking forward to digging into another book with you. This week I'm going to be covering a book by Seth Godin. He's a fairly well-known author. I'm sure you've heard of the name before. He's written a ton of really interesting books, mostly around business, but also around performance and helping yourself get over challenges and really becoming an artist and being different and how to make yourself stand out, how to make yourself above the rest of the crowd. And so he's written books like Purple Cow. He's written a bunch of other really interesting books. So check them out if you like what I have to say here. So a few things going on today in this review. So the book I read is called the Icarus Deception, and essentially it's about the myth of Icarus, who was told he was given these wings made of wax, and was told not to fly too high to the sun. But what they didn't tell him was not to fly too low, because if you fly too low, what happens is you're not going to have enough air pressure under your wings, and you're going to crash into the ocean or whatever you're flying over. So the idea that we shouldn't fly too high, we got to watch out for that, because one of the big things that came out of this book for me, particularly at the beginning of the book, is that our safety and our comfort zones are two different things. A lot of times we equate our comfort zone as our safety zone, and this is really important to know because we want to push our comfort zone. We definitely don't want to push our safety zone. We want to keep ourselves safe, but we want to push our comfort zone. We want to get outside of our comfort. And by understanding that our safety and our comfort zone are two different things, I think this really helps a lot to get our mindset ready to go, get our mindset going on the fact that we can push outside of a comfort zone, and we don't necessarily need to be worried that we're being unsafe by pushing out of our comfort zone. So remember that. Safety, comfort zone, two different things. Be sure to push out of your comfort zone and keep yourself in that safety zone. So the next thing that I got out of this, and this really relates to that comfort zone idea, is that you don't need to have a sortie in order to do something. Just go ahead and do it. Make it happen. Go out there. You don't have to wait to be picked. You don't have to be selected in order to go do something. If you think it's a great idea, if you think it's going to create art, if you think it's going to create value for people, go out and do it. Go out and make it happen. The next thing that I really got out of this book is that this is really something, and I'm going to talk about this in the next book that I do, is to seek out questions, not answers. I want you to be coming up with questions to ask. Some of the most successful people who have really made something of themselves have done well by asking really great questions. There's a couple great books out on this. Tim Ferriss is another one who talks a lot about there's a book called A More Beautiful Question, who is out there, and I'm sorry I forgot the author's name, but check out that title. And it talks about developing questions and creating great questions. If you can create great questions, then trying to find those answers, a lot of times you'll come up with really unique, interesting, and awesome things. So think of great questions, seek out questions, don't worry about the answers so much. Another thing that I got out of this book is that try not to hide your weaknesses, because if you don't have any weaknesses, if you're literally perfect, you're boring. You're going to be boring. So have those weaknesses, have those challenges, have those things that you're trying to overcome, because that makes you really, really interesting. Now, a couple other things that I got out of this book, a couple other sort of bullet points that came out of this one that I thought were really, really interesting. One of them is that you can't accurately see the world until you abandon your own worldview. And this is really interesting because every single person we communicate with, every single person we interact with, every single person we come in contact with has a different view of the world. And if we don't abandon our own worldview, we're going to find it very challenging to understand their perspective, understand their way of seeing things. And when we don't understand those things, when we don't understand other people's way, other people's worldview, it becomes challenging to build a connection with them, to build upon that worldview. If we continue to say that, you know what, your worldview is wrong, you're not going to be able to build those foundations, build those connections, build those unique ideas, and, as Seth Godin says, make art. And finally, the last thing that I really thought was really interesting, a really interesting talking point out of this, if you think about it, we don't have talker's block. In fact, right now I'm talking to you and I'm coming up with this as I speak because I'm not afraid of talking. But sometimes we get afraid of creating a creative idea and we get to writer's block. We think, you know what, this isn't the best idea, I should stop. That's why we have writer's block. So remember that when you're trying to write something, get it down, put it on paper. You can always make the changes later, but don't stop yourself from creating great ideas. Don't be afraid to make art. Don't be afraid to push against the grain. All those things are going to make you more valuable, make you more connected to your audience. And so all those things are really, really interesting. So that's it for this week. I want you to go out and check that book. If you found this interesting, go check it out. There's a ton of other insights in this book, but those were the key ones that I got. And until next week, feel free to comment down below, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And until next week, you have yourself a great week, okay? Jordan, signing off. Bye-bye.